Senator Alan Simpson from Wyoming is basically condemning his party, the Republican Party, because of the way that they try to, ban abortion and pass legislation that basically violates women's reproductive rights. Now, he thinks that maybe it's a good idea to ban men from voting on these issues altogether. In fact, let me tell you his exact quote. He says, "It's a hideous thing," referring to abortion. "It's terrible, but it's a deeply intimate and personal thing. Men legislators shouldn't even vote on it."
That's fascinating. Now, so Alan Simpson is a character. So he's an old school Republican. He's one of the guys that validates what I say about how Republicans used to be different, that they were not this extreme and right wing. Now, but don't trust him. Don't get me wrong, because he's one of the authors of the compromise, the Simpson Bowles, that would actually cut your Social Security and your Medicare. So on financial stuff, I still think he's a disaster. And we've had this discussion before. I actually think he means well, and he actually believes the nonsense he says about Social Security, but he's totally wrong about it. So in the one thing that he matters in Washington, he's a very dangerous figure because of that, right? But he has something likable about him. He's a cranky old guy. He says it like he sees it. He talks about how his grandfather shot a guy dead in the middle of the street, brags about it, and he's a tough guy and all this stuff. And then on social issues, he's incredibly liberal. Yeah, he is. In fact, he hates the fact that a lot of Republicans are homophobic, and he addressed that as well. In the past, he said, "You're a Republican, you believe in get out of your life and the precious right to privacy, the right to be left alone. Well then, pal, I don't care what you do. You can go worship the great eel at night. I don't give a rat's ass. But don't mess with me, and don't then go take a position I have and wrap religion around it." Now, look, no present-day Republican can say that and get elected. I mean, go pray to the great eel? Oh, you're done for. If a Democrat said that, you'd be done for. Yeah. So this guy, but what's amazing is for all the good positions that Alan Simpson has, he's totally ignored. The one thing that he's the worst at, they're like, let's make him the head of that commission.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting about this is because we think of especially old Republicans, I picture these guys as all becoming like Mr. Burns, living in giant houses alone with one assistant, very grumpy. But he, Alan Simpson put out a Gangnam Style ad. You're right.
I remember that.
He's a little more fun and down with it. But the idea, though, that you can only vote on things if you have a vested interest, like that women should only vote on abortion, is kind of crazy. I mean, I don't think that only gay people should decide gay marriage, for example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little bit extreme, but the idea, I mean, look, abortion should obviously be legal, and no women want it. Women don't have abortion parties, do they? I'm pretty sure they don't.
Well, I've had one or two. No, of course they don't have abortion parties. Like, I hate the way that abortion is, not glorified, but how Republicans make it seem like women do it as if it's no big deal. Alan Simpson is absolutely right when he says it's a really difficult decision. It's not something that a woman is proud of. She has to really think about it, and a lot of women do feel shame and guilt. Of course, a lot of them also feel a lot of relief. So I see where he's coming from, and I think he's coming from a good place on this issue, but I agree with you when it comes to still allowing male legislators to vote on it, because one thing that people don't keep in mind is, look, abortion also impacts men. It should ultimately be the woman's decision, but it does impact a male's life as well.
Being pro-choice doesn't mean you're pro-abortion. Yeah. Everybody gets how hard an abortion decision is for anybody. But okay, look, you can't take this suggestion seriously. Obviously, men can vote on abortion. Of course they can. But the fact that he's a Republican that's actually trying to reach out to the other side and is open-minded on social issues is stark.